Hello, 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 YouTube. What's going on with everybody today? Welcome back to Real Talk Therapy 101 with your girl Ebony. And not going to keep you guys long at all today. We're going to go ahead and get into it. We know it's midweek, so we're halfway through this third segment of self-care. Halfway through what it looks like after we have developed that sense of self-love, self-worth. We've gotten back to self-awareness, and now we're developing a way or developing who we are in a way to preserve it. So we'll go into that last segment next week of self-care, and it'll be 104, and we'll be looking at self-preservation. So as we go ahead and get into it, today's custom-made t-shirt says, she turns heads with all her clothes on. Imagine that. Real Talk Therapy 101. And we're talking about self-development. And as we come on down, our bag for today is our multicolored city tote. Y'all know how I am. Love the colors. And so we got the blue in here, a little accents of the pink, and this good old city tote. And then of course, let's see, I can't get it to turn like I have been doing. So y'all know how I do. Got on the Rainbow Brights today. Vapor Max, multicolored, so they match what we have going on. But let's go ahead and dive right into this thing. Like I said, we're midweek, and we're now developing a sense of self. We're developing who we are and how we need to be seen, how we need to be taken at this point. You know, you've gotten to where it's no nonsense, no games. I know who I am. I love who I am. Unfortunately, life circumstances have me where I am right now. And this is the version of you know, who I am at this place in my life. And so some of the things that I tolerated, you know, prior to, we're just not tolerating them anymore. And you all have to be able to develop a sense of self in regards to that, to be able to speak your narrative. Remember, if you don't tell people what you get ready to deal with and not deal with, they're going to continue to do what they want to do to you. It's not going to matter until you open your mouth. And so in a sense of becoming who we are and developing, you know, those things that we want to be tolerant of, or those things that we want to do, we now have a new sense of ourselves and what's okay and what's not okay. We just have to be able to develop our way of communicating that. And, you know, sometimes some information is just going to be hard to receive. Sometimes some information is just going to be so hard to put out there. But when you become who you are, and the reason why I chose, you know, this slogan is that because for women, we're often portrayed by the way we're shaped, you know, what we have on, if we're pretty, you know, if our hair is long enough. There's been all of these stigmas about ourselves. And so when it comes to self-care, we have forgotten how to take care of and be comfortable in the skin that we're in and be okay with who we are without society, family, friends, or whoever else trying to convince us to be a certain way. Individuality is priceless. Knowing who you are, owning who you are, being who you are, that's something that nobody will ever be able to take away from you. But you have to develop that within yourself. So no matter how, you know, shapely I once was, no matter, you know, what I look like physically, I had to be able to know that whether I have all of my clothes on or all of my guards up, and all of my insecurities are now in a secure place. All of those things that used to bother me that don't bother me anymore. Now, when I walk into a room, I'm fully clothed and you're still looking in my direction because there's still an aura about this version of myself that I've developed. You know, it doesn't have to be a physical dressing of having your clothes on. We just know as females, we're often, you know, objectified based on our bodies and things like that. But women, I'm here to tell you today, and men, I know this can happen to you as well. But females, any of you identifying as a female, if you put it out there, you gotta be willing and you gotta know what's gonna come back. And so if you're looking for things and you're presenting a certain version of yourself to get results, that's who you gotta stick with. And that can be uncomfortable when you're creating a version of yourself that you've never been before, that you don't know how to be, you don't know what's going on, you know, inside of you. You just become this person. And so to illustrate for today, and I don't have my iPad in here right this second, but I want you to think about the Incredible Hulk. I want you to think about, you know, Eric Banner for a second. And usually when he started to go through that transformation of becoming the Hulk, something will have happened that he can't control. And so he might be in a setting around some people that he does not want to see him turn into this big green, you know, creature or whatever. But because the transformation has already started and it's something that, you know, he's adapted as a part of him, he's developed as a part of him, but you're still leery about certain people knowing who you are. What's the point? What's the point of having an alter ego if you don't let people know who your alter ego is? You know, from time to time, I get like this one. I don't mean no harm by it, but we got to get this stuff done. Or, you know, from time to time, I become Bonquisha. And you know, you have to be able to talk about how you feel and the mood that it puts you in. But all of these different alter egos are still a part of Ebony or a part of whoever you are. It's just how we handle stuff. And so, you know, like I said, when Eric Banner is turning into the Incredible Hulk, or David Banner, whichever one, I think it was David, then his son, but at any rate, whatever caused him to become the Hulk, he didn't want everybody to see that part about him, but why not? It's who you are. It's who you are. And if at times you gotta turn green and bust out your clothes and put a little bass in your voice to be heard, then, you know, that's what you have to do. And it's a way to do these things without offending other people. Now, I know you guys are going to say this because the level of offense is beyond the wazoo right about now. Like, I wouldn't dare talk about how I feel about certain topics because everybody wants to get offended, but then everybody wants to run their mouth. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be protected because you are affiliated in a certain way, but because somebody else feels, you know, however they feel about your affiliation, you can't dictate how people are supposed to respond to you, but then you turn around and talk about somebody else or another group. Cut it out. Cut it out. Everybody has their opinion. Remember, can't change that. All you can change is what happens with you when you enter into life, when you enter into these jobs, when you enter into your household, where you're taking care of your family, when you enter into, you know, your community with the different things that you do, when you enter into these relationships, if you have some things that are going on with you, come into it fully clothed. Don't leave some of your stuff out. Don't leave some of your bags in your car when you come into a relationship and the person accepts you for the few little bags you brought in and you know you got a trunk load full of mess that you ain't unpacked. That's not fair to the person you get ready to be with. Own who you are. At this stage of self-development, Popeye say, I am who I am. I be who I be. You know, I am who I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. You have to own up and accept who you are. And be okay when people don't want to deal with you in that capacity. Because they have that right. They have that ability. They have their right. They have their say so, just like you have yours. It's nothing hard about it. It's nothing, mean about it. Everybody wants to be accommodated, but nobody wants to be accommodating. Come on now. Gotta cut it out. In certain portions of your life, there are rules. Certain things you have to abide by the rules. You don't get to make them up as you go. And that's what's wrong with us as a human race. We want to make them up as we go. Then we don't want to accept what is. Nah, imagine being everything that you are. Your full self. All of your clothes on. All of your baggage. All of your mistakes. All of your mishaps. All of your failures. All of these different things that you had going on. Because that's who you are. It's a part of your identity. It's a part of your story. It's a part of your narrative. And the biggest point that I want y'all to get out of this today is that failure is an option. We've been told our entire lives failure is not an option, but yes, it is. You can fail, and some stuff you need to fail at so that you can figure out another way to do it. We look for other people to do things that'll meet us halfway. No, do your part. And if the other person doesn't come along after your part is done, knock the dust off of your feet and quit trying to make things be what they're not. You know what I'm saying? Quit looking for something inside of something. Accept those things as though they are or as what they were. You know what I mean? It's nothing you can do about it. And if there is something that you can change, a lot of the times it's you. You can control whatever change needs to happen to you. You cannot control the change of anything going on around you. The election is over. Can't be changed today. But now this stuff is going on around you. So educate yourself on who's doing what and how it's going to affect you and your household. Protect yourself by any means necessary. And that's my good word. But you can't protect yourself, real talk, if you don't even know what you're protecting yourself from. Everybody got something to say. But ain't everybody doing nothing. What you talking for? So it's time to now let's get real. We're in this segment of self-development, and in developing myself, I have to be okay with those things that I failed at because I had the opportunity to try again. Now you can beat a failure. You can beat a failure with a try. That's the only thing that beats a failure. You got to try, but you got to be okay with failing. Got to be okay. I failed a class. And I literally thought it was the end of the world for me until I talked to my student advisor. Girl, that's the first class that you didn't do good in. Yes, a failing grade, but here are your options. So because I failed, I still had options. So you can't be afraid to cover up instead of being out here in your nakedness and not having options and putting yourself out here, half of who you are. You're not fully clothed in who you are. You're out here, half-stepping. Big Daddy Kane say ain't no half-stepping. Ain't none. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no half-stepping. This is who I am. This is who I be. Lil' Kim. Another great. This is who I am. This is what I be. People come around trying to change me. Oh, no. The change has to come from inside of us, and it has to be what we want it to be. Credible Hulk couldn't control his change. But it was a part of his narrative, and a few people knew, you know, the regular person and the Hulk, and those people were accepting of what they knew. We're afraid to be accepted because we got some flaws. We want to present ourselves in lights and auras that we cannot maintain, y'all. Cut it out. It's time out for that. Be the individual, male or female, that walks into a room and people are looking around and they see you in all your fullness with all of your clothes on. Imagine being all of who you are and still being accepted and loved. Try it, because that's self-care. I ain't gotta quit, gotta keep being all these multi versions of myself because one or two people are uncomfortable. It ain't worth it. So in order to really take care of yourself, you got to develop a level of comfortability being clothed in all of the things that make you who you are, and not be afraid to fail, no matter what it is that you might fail at. Sometimes things have to be broken, you know, and or sometimes things that are broken are able to be fixed, and sometimes they just can't. It just can't be fixed. So you got to start all over. The foundation has to be different. All these things have to be different. The development of this new thing has to be different. Try it and see. That's all I ask. Just try it and see. And be able to do those things that, you know, make sense for you. Because until you learn what they are, you are going to continuously try to be that person that you weren't created to be, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And the transformation, you're going to turn into the Hulk at the most inopportune times, and that's not good. It's not healthy at all. So just remember, in developing yourself, to make sure you stay fully girded in everything that makes you who you are. And if you failed at something, it's all right. That was the option at the time. When you're ready, go back and try it again. Don't just stop there. So thank y'all so much for stopping by, talking to me midweek. This thing is going to get where we needed to get for the rest of the week as we continue to develop who we are in these trying times and dates, and just have some real talk about where we're going. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And see you all on Real Talk Therapy 101 tomorrow. All right.